Hey Professor and everyone who's going to be seeing this. My name is Chris Rhoda. I'm going to be going through our fourth lab experiment today, which is going to be involving buoyancy forces and dealing with floating. I'm really actually looking forward to this one because being a member in the Coast Guard and being on small boats and everything all the time, buoyancy and equilibrium and all that center of gravity dealing with water is something I deal with on pretty much a daily basis in the Coast Guard. So with this one, I'm pretty sure I know what's going to be happening, but it'll be fun to do, and I'm actually kind of looking forward to it because I got to play with some clay for it. So first thing, we'll take a look at our my whole setup here for the lab. So I've got my salt and measuring spoon here, my ball of clay, my beaker that I filled the beaker here up to 150 milliliters of water. It's just plain water at the moment. There's nothing in it, just straight out from the tap. I have my 15 washers here, and I actually have two different designs of boats, I guess you could say. One is just a little bit more like a bowl than a boat, and this other one is a little bit more square-ish. I'll use both just kind of for fun, but I think actually this one that's a little bit more square will end up holding more of the washers before it sinks than this one will, just simply because of the depth that this one will reach to in the water. I think it'll displace more water, holding more weight than this one will. And because this one, I think, I already kind of placed it in the water earlier, but it sits pretty close when it's floating to the surface line, being very near the edges of this. So I don't think this one will hold too many washers. But what's going to happen is I'm going to place one of them in the beaker, and first I'm going to place the ball of clay into the beaker, and I'm going to see how much it changes, how much the water level rises and everything. And then once I take that out, I will place one of these two in. I'll probably start with this one, in fact. I'll place this one into the beaker itself, and then I will start adding washers into it. And once I've put too many washers in and the weight of the washers outweighs the ability for it to stay buoyant, the clay and washers will sink to the bottom. Once that happens, I'll drain it out, refill it to 150 milliliters, and then I'll put 5 teaspoons of salt into the water, mix that together so it's a more saltwater-like composition. And what I think will happen here is that when I place it again into the salt water and I start adding the washers into it, I'm pretty sure that with the salt water, it will hold more washers than with the regular water, just simply because salt water is a denser and actually denser water, so it'll allow a heavier object to stay afloat, in which case it'll be able to hold more washers for it. And then after that, something that might help with the washer or with its buoyancy and everything would be its width, but since it's in a beaker, I can't really play too much with the width of the clay that I'll be using since I'm confined to having it fit inside that beaker. But if I was doing it in a tub, I could make it wider and everything. I could make it a little wider. Also, the depth that these go to in boats, they typically place a keel and everything or something like that inside the boat that is actually a little bit lower than the rest of the boat, and that's what creates its draft and allows the boat to sit where it does in the water and stay a little bit more level, because that keel is sitting a little bit lower inside in the water. So if I were able to add like a keel or something to the pieces of clay here, to extend just that part just a little bit farther down into the water, I think that would add just a little bit more of the buoyancy, or to the buoyancy, and allow it to actually hold more of the weight that we would be looking for. But we'll see what happens after I complete the lab. So, thank you.